Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I figured I'll just make a quick video here since I'm basically making the run out to Decius right now. Almost level 33, so hopefully we get that on the way there. But I've been engaging in some PvP shenanigans, or I should say more accurately that I've never played Stamina Spirit Paladin before in the lower levels, like prior to level 40 on like a PvP server. So I have no experience leveling in this gear and engaging in like open world PvP on a PvP server. So at this point, I've been in enough fights that I can definitively say that the Stamina Spirit gear on the PvP server is actually kind of broken. I already knew that the Stamina Intellect Spear gear was broken. For the record, Test Pally leveled in Stamina Intellect gear before Jugs of Light got me into the Stamina Spirit gear stuff. So Test Pally has a lot of combat experience on PvP servers, Stranglethorn Vale, using Stamina Intellect gear, right? Obviously. And the Stamina Intellect gear proved to be extraordinarily good in PvP. And I was wondering if the Stamina Spirit gear would be any good as well. Turns out it's spectacular, but in both cases we have to talk about why. So the Stamina Intellect gear is actually so good because in the lower levels, and this happens at level 60, which is why I'm bothering to make this video. In the lower levels, let's get a food buff before we enter Ashen Vale. In the lower levels, enemy spellcasters in particular, they literally can't, they don't have enough mana and they don't have enough spellcasting damage to mana ratio to basically kill a paladin if the paladin is primarily focusing their mana bar on healing themselves. This is doubly so if you have like a thick mana potion or especially on Stamina Spirit gear. A thick mana potion on Stamina Intellect gear or a thick health potion on Stamina Spirit gear. Because the health potion, of course, you can heal yourself and that with the health potion and just let your spirit regeneration tick away. This state of affairs persists into level 60. So, for example, when you're doing like early Alterac Valley, like back in the day, right? We'd be doing Molten Core and Alterac Valley. People are running around in like, Dungeon Tier 0, maybe bits and pieces for Molten Core, and like that's about it. Paladins with thick mana bars and the ability to self-heal themselves literally could not be killed by enemy spellcasters. The enemy spellcasters would go before you would actually die. And this, of course, happens while you're leveling as well. The main reason for this, go get that. The main reason for this is that your base healing mana to heal ratio, if you want to think of it that way, right? Like these holy lights here, with no spell power behind them, basically have like a 2-to-1 mana efficiency ratio. And most spells in the game, at best, with no spell power behind them, are like a 1-to-1 mana efficiency ratio. And so that level of disparity between the healing spell ratio and the damaging spell ratios means that if I've got 6,000 mana to work with and you've got 6,000 mana to work with and my heals are twice as effective as your DPS spells, good fucking luck killing me, right? TLDR. Yeah, and that, of course, plays out while you're leveling as well because nobody has any damn spell power ratio behind their gear. As gearing begins to progress and the enemy spellcasters get more and more spell power ratio behind their gear, they start to close that gap. So eventually it gets to the point where the enemy spellcasters with all their critical strike and yada yada yada, it gets somewhere in the vicinity of like a 3-to-1 mana efficiency ratio, mana to damage efficiency ratio. And if we're not in thick plus healing gear, our paladin ends up being somewhere in the vicinity of like a 3.2-to-1, or a little bit over a 3.2-to-1. Generally speaking, however, we want to have, if we don't have a higher healing ratio to their mana to damage ratio, we're doing something wrong, and it basically means that if we ever stop and need to like spam heal ourselves for whatever reason as a paladin, right? We're going to be in big trouble if, like, imagine lightning bolts are crashing into me right now, or shocks are coming in, like, interrupting my heal and stuff. we're going to be in big trouble if our healing ratio isn't noticeably better than the incoming damage ratio. Or we have eye for an eye, one of the two. What is there to say here? So what the Stamina Spirit gear has been doing, that's not a good sign. This is a possible gank location. Do I have anything extra I can do here? I don't have any potions, to my knowledge. Yeah, we got nothing. Alright, so if I die, I die. It is what it is. Focus on the video. And that, I could refresh the Seal of Wisdom, but I'll let my spirit catch up. So what the Stamina Spirit gear has basically been doing, as near as I can tell, is I know this from my PvP experience. So when I'm fighting enemy players in the open world, I'm very conservative with my mana, and I'm worshiping at the altar of spirit regeneration. Because this is how I would fight as a Stamina Intellect Paladin as well. And what this means is the casters literally don't have enough mana to kill me, and then the classes that aren't casters, so we're talking like, literally, I think we're only talking Warrior and Rogue. When you're able to put on a shield and you have a one-handed weapon and you're just refusing to fucking die, they get murked anyways. So there's very few things in the game that can actually kill me. I've had some interesting PvP experiences, like I'm not going to lie. Interesting. Lit it on fire. I've only had a handful so far. One of them, I got jumped by a warlock when I was like super low level, but I dragged him into like an elite mob. It was the elite mob on the lake in the house, down by the lake where the turtles are in the Alterac Mountains. Like I ran around the house and I stunned him right when he was by the door of the house. Like I took the long way around the house, right? Like imagine like this stump is the house. What happened was the warlock was attacking me and I was like running around the house. I stopped right here to heal. Like let's say this tree is like the doorway of the house. The warlock came around here. I took the long way around the door and he took the short way around the door, and then I stunned him like right there, and the elite mob got on him and I was like, all right, you're done. Another fight I had was, it started me versus a priest in like the same area. So you know how there's like that Dalaran thing there, and the Dalaran mobs are all friendly with you. It wasn't quite at the Dalaran area. It started with a priest ganking me, and it ended with like 5 horde killing me, all of them higher level, but it took them like a million years to kill me. And I was just like, oh, that's funny. But then when I came back to my corpse, I got chased down like a dog at level 31 by a mounted level 40 shaman and his warrior buddy. But I survived so long that I dragged them into the Dalaran mobs, and I got like 12 Dalaran mobs aggroed on them, and they just both got murdered while I just stood there and healed through their nonsense. It was actually objectively amusing. But yeah, so the healing strategy is proving itself to be very, very good. Might get ganked here, hard to say. If we do get ganked, it's going to be a rogue, so I'm going to put on the Ret Aura. We're already thick in the armor. Yeah, so that's really what I wanted to talk about, is how the Stamina Spirit gear is holding up. People ask me like what to do, like if they want to PvP while leveling on like a PvP server. The answer is to go engineering, and then get Goblin level 36. You can get Goblin Mortar and Gnomish Netomatic, and those are the only 2 trinkets you really need to PvP. Later on, you can get your Niffty Stopwatch, but once you have Grenades, Goblin Mortar, Gnomish Netomatic, I mean, Jesus Christ, you're basically just a war in a can. You don't even need Repent at that point. And then, unironically, Stamina Spirit gear or Stamina Intellect gear is generally best, and you just grind people into pulp. If you're going Strength gear for whatever reason, I'm not the biggest fan of that in the world. Just because it's just not as powerful. Worshipping at the altar of the mana and the disparity between the healing ratio is 100% the way to go. There's a lot of really scary classes out there. There's going to be a lot of like higher level classes than you that are trying to gank you and put you in the dirt, like level 40s and stupid stuff like that. Actually, I have to go get the flight path over here. I haven't been to Ashenvale yet. Nope, just better to be a thick boy. Like, unironically, just be a thick boy, and thunk people to death. Judge light on them if they don't want to go away. Judge wisdom on them. Use a knightly longsword. Literally, endurance fight them to death. Once they get low on HP and mana, once they've like kind of gone, oh my god, I can't kill this paladin, what the fuck is going on here? Once they want to run the hell away from you, that's when you swap into your two-handed weapon. That's when you show that you have grenades, goblin mortars, and gnomish nomadic, and you'll just murk the crap out of people. But anyways, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it is what it is. So I just wanted to make a quick video about that. It's also one of the reasons why, if you've noticed, people have been asking, like, what gear is best to wear in, like, Phase 1 for PvP at, like, level 60. And the answer is, it doesn't exist. You're not going to get your hands on tier 0 anytime soon. Rank 10 gear will be available before you get your hands on, like, 5-piece tier 1. Tier 1 is what I want to talk about. You can go for Light Forge. Light Forge is not bad at all. Super early in this phase. But generally speaking, anything that's got thick mana on it is kind of the way to go if you're playing any kind of paladin that has healing in combat. For Reckoning paladins, it's really all about your weapon. So literally it's like they keep changing the damn name of it because they think it's racist or something. Okay, listen to my words really carefully, okay? Imagine I'm shaving and I cut myself with the razor, right? What do we say happened? We say that I nicked myself with the razor, right? There used to be, I think it's called the Obsidian Edge Blade or the Obsidian Cleaver from, I want to say, the Ogre in Lower Blackrock Spire. It's a 4.0 speed weapon. It's Obsidian something these days, but I always call it the Nicker, because that's what it used to be. It's a fucking razor blade on a polearm. But they changed the name because it's too close to being racist, and I'm just like, please, stop, no. It's perfect name. What are we talking about here? That's one of your better two-handed weapons. Eventually you can graduate into, like, the Arcanite Reaper, but it's not worth the gold. Like, what are we even talking about here? And then Tier 0, not the worst thing in the world. I like Tier 0 just because it has awfully thick HP bar. I hope I got that flight path. Uh-oh. It has a really thick mana bar to it. Let me think about this. I used to play on private servers back in the day, and Night Raven, private server, if I recall correctly. And I would use Tier 0 and the aforementioned racist weapon. No. What's the correct terminology there? It's actually kind of funny. It'd be like the previously known, whatever. I'd use the Nicker, and I would kick the shit out of people with rec bombs, pre-charged rec bombs in Everlock, and that's basically how I ranked before the battlegrounds were out on the private server. No, it's not bad. Tier 0 is 100% not bad. It's your dungeon set. It's pretty damn easy to get your hands on. Even Dracova's not the not anti-it for early PvP Reckoning purposes. Heal Reckoning needs a thicker mana bar, though. I don't think Heal Reckoning is going to come online truly terrifyingly until we get our hands on... Gotta go down here. Until we get our hands on rank 13 gear, because the rank 13 gear actually has the mana bar. But I mentioned this in like a previous video. It's not that big of a deal. Anyways, I'm starting to go on here, so I'll end the video here, and day is full. But yeah, it's looking very promising, the Stamina Spirit gear for PvP. You just really need to know how to fight in Stamina Spirit gear. Drakova has a lot of old videos, his Rosita PvP videos, and even some of his Rukalar PvP videos. What happened was he had some like Paladin alts back in the day, and he was like wondering what PvP gear to get them. And I basically pointed out that Tier 1 suit is literally a war in a can, just because it's got all that fire resist, and you can get the HP bar up pretty damn high. And he started playing around with it, and he's got a bunch of videos of him kicking the crap out of people with just like Tier 1 and just random, like literally just full tier 1 suit, just grinding people into pulp in high-level duels and stuff like that. The reason for it is because the Tier 1 suit has a ton of HP, It has a lot of spirit. It has a thick mana bar. It has a lot of plus healing, which if you recall, we're talking a lot about the value of the efficiency of your heals. And it has a lot of fire resist. So it's just this weird high HP endurance suit is the best way to describe it. I describe it as being tier. Going over here. Okay, so I'm way off the beaten path. I describe it as tier 3 before tier 3. Early tier 1 is tier 3 before tier 3, but she has such amazing stats, the tier 1 suit, that you can literally fight Naxxramas geared players in full tier 1. Like, unironically fight them just because of the extremely high fire resist. The break point, if your gear has high fire resist in like fighting Naxxramas geared players and AQ40 players, is 5,100 HP, and you can get 5,100 HP with that suit, like, incredibly effing easy, like, insanely, retardedly easy in Tier 1. It's like Tier 1 Dragon's Blood Cape, good two-handed weapon, or one-hander, and you're good to go. Like, GG's. Yeah, really, really interesting. What else is there to say? But other than that, there's kind of nothing. Your Tier 0 suit, and then we're just waiting for rank 10. Rank 10 is amazing, but she's kind of low stamina. All you Reckoning Paladins are going to be super happy with rank 10 gear. Me as a heal Reckoning Paladin is going to be kind of like, dear God, please give me some more mana on this fucking gear. Then rank 13 is going to come out. I'm going to have mana. I'm going to have MP5, and I'm going to be happy as a clam. Anyways, I'll end the video here, and Deus Vult.